Welcome everyone. In today's video, I'll be going over all of the important news that occurred in the Solana ecosystem last week. One last thing before I start the video, I've opened up a Telegram group chat for everyone to come in, talk about Solana, other cryptocurrencies, that sort of thing. A link for the Telegram group chat will be in the description. So the first piece of news comes from Soda Protocol. So they have finally gone live on Solana Mainnet. So if we go to their website, we can see that they are essentially, it's just another money market available on Solana, but you will be able to have your own on-chain credit score, which is quite interesting. So currently right now the TVL isn't high, as they haven't really announced any incentives or anything like that for using Soda Protocol, but this is one of the so-called airdrop candidates, right? So it's live on mainnet and it doesn't currently have a token. So I expect they'll be doing retroactive liquidity miner rewards with Soda Protocol. So if you go ahead, supply collateral and do some borrowing, the more that you do, the more tokens you'll probably get airdropped in the future. Now that's not guaranteed to happen, but I expect that's probably how they're going to do token distribution. The next piece of news comes from Invictus DAO. So we've had the very first Olympus DAO fork go live on Solana. So if you go on their website, you can stake the IN token for 12,826% APY, which is pretty decent. And you can buy those IN tokens from Radium. So if you're into Olympus DAO forks and you want to get some of this juicy APY, go ahead and do so. Next piece of news comes from Casio. So Casio is a decentralized money on Solana. It's just another form of stablecoin, so they are now live to use. So if you didn't know, you can go to Casio website, and then so to print one cash, you would need 0.97228 USDC LP tokens. So this is very similar to what Para Finance does with LP tokens. So I'll be interested to see whether or not this actually does take off, because we already have someone in the ecosystem who does this and they do it better. But interesting nevertheless. The next piece of news comes from Lagrange. So they put an announcement here. Just wanted to let y'all know our tokens for sale in Mango Market style are almost ready. Let's prepare and don't miss. So if you're not familiar with Lagrange, it's just a Forex protocol on Solana. So they are bringing Forex to Solana. We have created pairs such as Wrapped, Brazilian Real, USDC. So if Forex is something that you're interested in, definitely check out this project. And I think it's something that's definitely needed within the ecosystem because everything is denominated in dollars. I would really like it if I could start doing all my DeFi transactions in pounds. But next piece of news comes from UXD Protocol. So they had their IDO this week and it's finished. So they raised a total of $57 million for the insurance fund. So I think the IDO was for about 3% of the total supply of tokens, so that gives it a fully diluted value of like $1.9 billion, which is a crazy high amount for a protocol that doesn't have a live product. But as you can see here, the insurance fund is well capitalized to withstand a bear market in funding rates and will increase the utility of UXD. So UXD is an algorithmic stablecoin backed by a delta neutral position. So what they do is they go onto Mango markets, they'll long Bitcoin spot and short an equivalent amount of Bitcoin perpetual futures, and that way they can collect a funding rate whilst not taking on any price risk of Bitcoin. Another important piece of this announcement is that the insurance fund will be invested into Saber HQ and Mercurial Finance stablecoin swap LP tokens to earn yield. So expect that your yields will be crushed in the Saber USDT USDC pool, as well as Mercurial Finance Wrapped USD4 pool. If you're in those pools, expect those APYs to go down by quite a bit because 50 million is on its way. Next piece of news comes from Cyclos Finance. So they're announcing the debut of the Cougar Click, the first DeFi integrated NFT collection on Solana. So there'll be 5,000 Cougars with utility. So this is quite interesting. I'll read more about it on their website. So these are the Cougars. Check them out. They look cool. So Cougarnomics. So the Cougars are deflationary by nature. 25% of Cyclos swap platform fees for the first 3 months after the minting event will go towards a bi-weekly Cougar cull. So what I assume by that is they're just going to buy whatever the floor Cougars are and just burn them. So the more Cougar holders who utilize CycloSwap to swap tokens, the more Cougars will be culled, further decreasing the supply of Cougars in the wild. So if demand stays the same for these Cougars and supply decreases, then obviously it's going to cause the price to go higher. In addition, 25% of the royalty fees captured each time a Cougar is sold will also go towards the bi-weekly cull. To close the loop, a quarter of all royalty fees will be used during each cull to purchase CYS tokens and stake them in the CYS liquidity pools for set period determined by the DAO, contributing to the liquidity of the token. So this is quite cool. Them actually integrating NFTs into a DeFi protocol. The next piece of news comes from CryptoPathic. If you're not familiar with Path, he's quite a popular person on crypto Twitter. It says here NFT trading now live on Solana through Radium. So if you're not familiar with NFT, basically it's a fractionalized feisty Doge NFT. This was quite popular earlier on this year. If we look to the price chart, it went up massively. The current market capitalization for feisty Doge is about $21 million, and this is one of those sort of meme tokens, meme NFT tokens that if you wanted to play the dog money trend, you might consider buying feisty Doge. Next piece of news comes from Apricot Finance. So they have announced retroactive liquidity mining, so retro airdrops. If you've used the protocol before, they're going to give you tokens. Basically what they're doing, they're giving out 1% of the Apricot Finance tokens total token supply as retroactive airdrops for users who have or will have deposited, borrowed, or X-farmed on Apricot in the first 30 days since the launch on October 19th. So if you've read that, it means that you actually have until November 19th to continue using Apricot Finance for retroactive liquidity mining rewards. So what this means is that the amount of tokens that you're going to get airdropped correlates to the amount that you've actually used Apricot Finance. So the more you use Apricot Finance, the more tokens you should be receiving. The next piece of news comes from Phantom. So they're planning to do a mobile wallet, and the private beta for that will be released later this year with a full launch available in January. Next piece of news comes from AURY. So AURY staking has gone live and you can start claiming rewards. The next piece of news comes from FTX. So they've listed quite a few new tokens. So we have Aleph, Jet, Port, Solend, all coming to FTX. So that's cool. New exchange listings historically have, pumped coins before, but it just means that more people have access to these tokens, which is nice.